Welcome to the Relatively Damaged podcast by damaged parents, where broken, beaten, scarred people come to learn maybe, just maybe, we're all a little bit damaged. Someone once told me it's safe to assume 50% of the people I meet are struggling and feel wounded in some way. I would venture to say it's closer to 100%. Every one of us is either currently struggling or has struggled with something that made us feel less than. Like we aren't good enough. We aren't capable. We are relatively damaged, and that's what we're here to talk about. In my ongoing investigation of the damaged self, I want to better understand how others view their own challenges. Maybe it's not so much about the damage. Maybe it's about our perception and how we deal with it. There's a deep commitment to becoming who we are meant to be. How do you do that? How do you find balance after a damaging experience? My hero is the damaged person, the one who faces seemingly insurmountable odds to come out on the other side whole. Those who stare directly into the face of adversity with unyielding persistence to discover their purpose. These are the people who inspire me to be more fully me, not in spite of my trials, but because of them. Let's hear from another hero. Today's topic includes sensitive material which may not be appropriate for children. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only and is not intended as advice. The opinions expressed here were strictly those of the person who gave them. Today, we're going to talk with Kristie Huggins. She has many roles in her life: mother, wife, best-selling author, and more. We'll talk about how after being married for 10 days, she found out her husband has terminal cancer and how they're muddling through. Let's talk. Welcome, Kristie, to Relatively Damaged. We're so glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, this is the show where we talk about struggle and how to find hope. Now, I was really interested. I'm actually really excited to talk to you because when you answered the form of your biggest struggle, you said, my husband's terminal cancer diagnosis. And the reason I think I'm so excited about that is because I don't think many people realize that what happens to our loved ones is also a struggle for us. So tell us about that process and some of those feelings that came along when you guys found out that he had terminal cancer diagnosis.
It's only 19 months ago. So he got diagnosed terminal only in September. Back in 2019, on July 29, because you don't forget the date. So July 29, 2019, we'd only been married 10 days. We just got married 10 days beforehand, and we just eloped actually because I was 13 weeks pregnant with my third child. Okay. And we just finished mapping out, like, he's only 35, or he was only, He was only 33 at the time. And now he's 35 and I'm 40. So long story short, he didn't tell me there was anything wrong. This is a man, right? This is a bloke. He was in the mine. He worked in the mines, doing in a coal mine as a big digger driver and all that other man toy stuff. So he didn't express anything that was happening. So when he told me that he's going to go to the doctors, and I was like, well, have fun. And we had a little argument. And because I was pregnant, I've got 2 other children as well.
Right.
I dropped him off at the front of the hospital. I said, have fun. You're going to be a big pain in the ass kind of thing, right? And I went, right, bad me. And then, and we lived across the road from the hospital. I said, you can walk home. But what I didn't realize was he was going in for a colonoscopy.
Right.
And I had no idea what that was.
Okay, hold on. So he had been to the doctor and they scheduled a colonoscopy?
Yes.
Okay. And you have no idea at this point what that means? Did you? No. So didn't he have to drink a bunch of stuff so that his bowels were empty and everything the night before?
Yeah, he had to do all that, but I don't know, he doesn't really talk about it. He does all these weird things.
So you were just frustrated and upset when you're dropping him off?
Yeah, because I wanted to go do something else. And he was like, you got to take me here. But I was pregnant, so my emotions were going through the roof.
Right.
third child, I'm just like, anyway, so there was that process. So yes, I dropped him off, and then they said, I will call you in about 1 to 2 weeks. He got called the next day.
So were you worried when you got the call the next day, or did you even know?
I didn't even know he got the call. So he said, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment. They've asked me to come in. And I went, oh. And for some reason, call it divine intervention, I have no idea. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I said, hey, I'll come with you. I'm bored at home because I'll stay home mum.
Right.
I'll come with you just to get out of the house.
Right.
And I don't know about you in California or whatever, but when you wait in the doctor's office here, you have to wait like an hour or more.
It seems like it sometimes.
Yeah. But we walked in and the doctor literally saw us and he said, come straight through. Didn't even get to sit down.
Okay, so what in that moment were you thinking when you get in there?
This is strange. I've had 3 babies. I'm 40 years old. I've been to the doctors and never once have I never had to wait. And for some reason, my heart started to beat just that little bit faster. And when we went into the doctor and sat down, he looked over, he goes, I'm so pleased you brought your family.
Oh no, what did that feel like? Did your heart sink?
I looked at him and I'm probably not supposed, I'll try not to swear because I'm conscious of that, but I looked at him and I did this, like, I don't know if people see my face or whatever, but I just went, righto, doctors don't say this shit unless there's something wrong.
Yeah, so you're looking really confused. The face you made to me looks like, what are you saying? Yeah. And why are you saying it?
Because I had my 15-month-old daughter, like I was still breastfeeding her and pregnant at the same time.
Oh my.
Call that ridiculous. I don't know, stupid mistakes there, but no. So I had my baby daughter, and the doctor, I can see it so vividly. Like Ben was sitting next to the, you know how you got the chair next to the desk, and in this doctor's office, it was quite big. So you have the bed and there was a chair next to the bed. So I went and sat about 2 meters away because I was breastfeeding our baby daughter. And then he goes, okay, Ben, now I shit you not, when the doctor starts crying and you see tears down his face, shit's not cool. And I went,
oh, and you're breastfeeding.
And I'm breastfeeding.
And your emotions are a mess.
Completely catastrophic would be the word.
I think for me, I might think I don't even know what to feel at that point.
Well, I wrote a book on this called Stage 5 because these feelings were just off the charts, right?
Yeah.
So I looked over and I went, okay, now if the doctor's crying, shit's bad. And nervousness that you kind of go, what the is happening? I looked over and he goes, look, Ben, I don't know how to tell you this. Your colonoscopy revealed you have bowel cancer.
And he's 34.
He was 33 at the time.
33 at the time.
I looked over. Now, I don't know if you edit the bleeps or whatever, and I looked over it. I'm always polite to the doctors, and I've gone, what the did you just say? And it was a really angry, authoritative, loud, you did not just say that. And what happened was every cell of my human being felt like napalm had caught fire, and I fainted.
With a baby.
With a baby, holding my baby. I couldn't feed her. I had to stop feeding her. All of a sudden, the doctor's helping me because I was pregnant as well. So I was like, shit, I'm going to miscarry here. Like my whole body collapsed on itself. And I looked over, I didn't even look at my husband. I just looked down like, and I'm crying uncontrollably, like shaking like an epileptic on a chair. And I looked over at my husband and like Ben, and I've gone, oh my, are you okay, honey? Like, what does this mean? Like, and then all of a sudden, shit just got really fast. It was almost like, you know, when you press the fast forward button on a DVD?
Yeah. That's
what it felt like for the next 6 months. You've got to go see this surgeon, this chemotherapy guy, this radiation person, this. But it was just a conveyor belt of medical interventions, tests, scans, CTs, whatever else, blood tests and other friggin' tests and shit they do, right?
Right.
And then what he said was, now we don't know what stage it's at. And he showed us the pictures of it, right? Because he had the little photos there. And I'm like, oh my, because cancer to me meant you're dead. He's going to die. I'm like, I'm goddamn pregnant. I'm 13 weeks pregnant with my third baby with a 15-month-old, and I have a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
We had decided, I waited till I was later in life, had my career to have babies.
Yeah.
I closed my company to be a mother. And I was like, so my husband, he was the only income earner, the whole shebang, right?
So you're all of a sudden thinking, I'm going to have to do this alone.
A single mum. I'm going to be a single mum that has no job, no savings, no nothing, because I had put all trust and faith to allow my husband to financially support me and be the
breadwinner.
The breadwinner, that's the word.
Yeah.
And I surrendered to be the stay-home mum. Stay-home mum was not a genetic easy thing for me to consider, because I love business, I love purpose, I love impacting people. But I consciously chose to be a present mum in their lives if I was going to have them.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it was like whipped out from under me.
Totally. And were you, so in some ways, I think I would be panicking. Do you think you were panicking?
Oh, no. I didn't panic. I went into shock.
Okay.
So shock to me actually was how would I explain it? What is a survival tool? So it actually puts the heart back to a natural rhythm, but shock allows you to stop and not feel the intense emotion so you can function.
Okay.
So it's just it's part of the chemical balances of the brain. So because shock is so severe, you actually wouldn't be able to live with yourself. So the body sends off chemicals to the rest of the body and the brain and all of this, that it's actually almost in between denial, so that you don't fully feel what's happening. So It puts you in a bit more of a calmness where you stop talking, you stop rushing, you stop panicking, so to speak. And then the doctor explained, stages 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's like, well, I hope we've got it early enough. If it's stage 1 or 2, we can just cut it out and do the thing and it's fine. And I was like, oh, great. Well, it's the first time we've heard about it. So he'll just be stage 1. And I was like, honey, it's a simple cut and paste. Like, I've had 2 babies. I've had a cesarean, you just cut, paste 6 weeks, you'll be out, you'll be fine.
Right.
Well, he did all the tests. He was stage 3, borderline 4, straight up. And then when we went to the surgeons, so the surgeon said, oh, look, you're stage 3, borderline 4. And we're like, well, what the hell does that mean? They go, well, we can't really operate. I said, what? They go, because of where his tumor is in the colon, it's in the sigmoid. Now, I won't get too graphic, but it's pretty much when you've got a kitchen sink, you've got the pipe that goes straight and then the bends. And just before this, all the waste comes out, which is your beehole, your bum. I don't know how to.
Your anus. Well, the technical word, right, is anus.
So it's in the bend. So that makes surgery super hard, and sometimes it won't heal because it's on a bend and because of the nature of the function. So they said, we can't really do this. It's not going to heal. And we're like, well, now what?
Right.
They go, well, you'd have a stoma bag on, but we can't guarantee that, you will get that removed because it was all too complicated because of the nature of where it is.
Okay.
And he would lose the function of going to the toilet and all other functions that resolve with the reproductive system and everything. He would lose all control and would never be able to use any of it again.
If they did the surgery.
If they did the surgery. And so at 33, he's like, well, hell no. And then they said, oh, look, we could attempt radiation and chemotherapy to shrink it, but we can't guarantee it. And we're like, so you're telling us you cannot guarantee that this shit's going to work. And I'm pregnant and I got another baby and I got another child and we're here and you can't guarantee what you're about to do. Now, I couldn't handle that doctor's visit, so I walked out. I left Ben in there, call it divine, I don't know. I just like, this shit's just ridiculous. because to me, it was like she was telling me how she's going to slowly kill him.
Ooh, ouch.
And I was like, I cannot cope with this. So I walked out, and then when we got in the car to drive home, I said, honey, there has to be a different way. And he's like, well, what other way is there? We don't know there's another way that this could happen.
Right.
And I'm like, so we started to look for alternative ways. And I was like, well, what other way is there? If you don't have medical intervention, what other way do you go? Mm-hmm. And we stumbled along, it's called natural healing cancer naturally, or like natural healing alternative holistic therapies, like changing your diet, changing your environment, your emotions, the chemistry of the body. You go plant-based, you do all this stuff, right?
So like a book or a place that you went to that said you need to do this, or how did you find that?
There are coaches and mentors and practitioners and naturopaths and all those types of people, which was a completely new world to us. We didn't know this existed.
So how'd you find it? If you didn't know it existed,
we Googled.
You Googled.
We just Googled alternative cancer healing therapies, or I don't remember exactly what he typed in. We put on Facebook, Ben has stage 3 cancer. Mm-hmm. And people were like, oh my God, it's Ben. No way, this is Ben?
Right.
And so we got inboxed a lot of people who were telling us, you've got to see this person, go see this person, all holistic healers, right? And we're like, okay. So that's where we also got our information from other people in the health alternate world.
So did you join groups on Facebook and that's where you posted this, and then you were getting all this information back? Sounds like people were pretty helpful.
It was in the beginning.
Okay.
Now I'm going to be very blunt during this and say this was horrendous to go through. Our family, the people you think support you, like your family and friends, and I can say this openly because we've gone through 19 months. Both our families, including our mothers and fathers, do not speak to us anymore. Our friends, we've lost all of our friends that I've had since school. Close people do not talk to us anymore. He actually, in the end, refused chemo, radiation, and surgery because he chose quality of life over quantity. He watched his own father go through chemotherapy and the horrendousness that it is. He watched his own mother with a brain tumor and his own people. He goes, if I don't have long to live, he was told he was not going to make Christmas. So he was only going to get 4 months.
Well, so that brings up another, just something that goes through my mind. I mean, is it really up to me to decide for someone else what they should do?
No. So we wrote, like I said, when we wrote in our book, it doesn't matter what we've come to the conclusion through this experience being the target. It does not matter what a person decides to do. It matters that the person decided to do it themselves and you support that person's decision. Now, if they want to go and have chemo, radiation, and surgery because that's how they feel they're going to win and survive and cure themselves, it doesn't matter what I think, and it doesn't matter that you go, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. You surrender all judgment, because that surrender is the thing that's going to support them emotionally, and that's what's undoubtedly going to help them heal through the process even more. And if they choose to go natural therapies and just eat a plant-based diet and take some CBD oil or do nothing, even if they choose to do nothing and surrender and use denial, shock as an empowerment tool, go, I don't believe I have cancer. Cancer's an illusion. Someone's told me I've got something. I don't believe it. If they go down that path, you've got to surrender. Just surrendering all judgment is 99% of the healing.
Well, so those people made this judgment, and thank goodness he's got you, right? Because it sounds like you're very supportive and understanding. And that also must have hurt your friends, your family, because of the choice to not use Western medicine. What were the emotions when you started recognizing these people just were not going to talk to us anymore? They just weren't going to care. I mean, What was that?
So this is where it brought me to doing what I'm doing. So when I figured out that my friends and family weren't going to be there, and the aloneness that I felt, I actually was like, I was more distraught than Ben was with cancer. I became the depressed person. I became the friggin' emotionally unstable wreck. I felt, okay, I'll give you a real life experience. Yeah. This was not pretty. This was not pretty. Ben's got cancer, right? He's got terminal cancer now. Like, let's fast forward it a little bit. He's got terminal cancer. He's now stage 4. It's in his livers. It's in his other things. We're actually waiting on his scan next week. He's implemented some other natural treatments, and we're literally waiting for his results that he's been implementing. But I'll give you a real life experience. This was the turning point for me that made me realize there is no support for the carer. Like, no real support. And I'm talking people with the cancer or a disease or terminal illness or any disease of any sort. It's all relevant. Like, you could have friggin' something, but it's just as traumatic, right? Ben has the cancer, and I felt, now this is a personal experience. This may not be for everybody, and no one may relate to this, or I may have a whole heap of people relate to this. But I am so blunt that I say this out loud. Support for a carer does not exist in the way people think, because I felt, one, I'm not allowed to say there's anything wrong with me because I'm not dying of cancer and I don't have a disease and there's nothing wrong with me because it's a mental, emotional thing, right? You can't see it. And I felt I was not allowed to express that, and I was not as important because I'm not dying.
Yeah, because all of this attention, you've got to take him to doctor's appointments, him here, and there's support groups for him, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch for him.
And here's the thing, I was pregnant. I was not allowed to be excited having a baby because no one even asked. I gave birth by myself in the hospital. No one even asked about my baby. Oh, how's your pregnancy going? The only people who asked me was when I would go to my doctor appointment, and they would say, hey, Kristie, how's everything going? And I would sit there. My doctor, what do you call them? The gynecologist or the pregnant doctor would set aside 2 hours for me.
Wow. So you got your support at the doctor's office.
And they even gave me social workers to talk to because no one ever asked, how is Kristie going?
Yeah, and you think there would be something over through the cancer doctor's office for family support, and there's nothing.
There's nothing. Now there's an organization here called Cancer Council Australia. I went and had a meeting with them because I'm an action taker, right? I'm a born-blooded entrepreneur, right?
Right.
I'll tell you the other bit first to backtrack that story, this real life bit. It was 11 o'clock at night. Ben was in the hospital. He had his stoma bag put on. Now, I'll try not to cry through this, but he was laying on the floor one afternoon in excruciating fetal position in pain. Let's fast forward a little bit. I'd had my baby, right? He made it to the birth, but they told he wasn't going to. Ben even sent me cards he sent the I'm going to die now cards because he went away for 10 weeks to do some natural therapy treatment. And he wasn't going to make it. He got to 47 kilos. He couldn't even stand up. He was bedridden. His parents had phoned me. We're going to call the ambulance. This is it. I was like, well, it's not, because Ben's put a do not resuscitate. You actually cannot help him. He's got a do not resuscitate in his legal documents. You're not allowed to help him. The only thing the ambulance is going to do is witness his death and record the time. And his mum and dad were like, what? Ben hadn't even told anybody this.
Wow.
So there was a do not resuscitate. So when I got that phone call, I got put in, my body shut down again in shock. And at 29 weeks pregnant, I went into early labor.
Oh my gosh.
It took them 4 days to stop it. They gave me whatever stuff they do to stop it.
But you've got 2 kids at home.
Exactly. So I had to take them with me.
To the hospital.
I rang my sister and said, can you come and help me? I'm in labor. I was in labor in the supermarket. I had a supermarket attendant. This shit just sounds crazy the more I'm remembering this. I had the supermarket attendant, like the checkout chick, come and sit next to me. And she watched my kids.
Oh, how sweet.
Random people. Anyway, so then my sister had to leave work, come and get me and take me to the hospital. And then I was like, oh my God. And then I rang Ben. I said, I'm in early labor. He can't move, by the way. He's like dying in a bed 14 hours away from me. A lot of this story is a bit choppy changey because it's not really flat because I'm remembering as I'm going.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm coming home. And I was like, he couldn't even go to the toilet. He was bedridden, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, he's going to miss it. And I'm going to give birth at 29 weeks. And I'm in a regional town, so you can't give birth at 29 weeks. You have to get a helicopter to Sydney. And I was like, so they had the helicopter prepping to take me to Sydney.
Oh,
and I'm
my
like,
gosh.
I can't go to Sydney. I got no one to watch. And I was still breastfeeding my daughter. So she wasn't even weaned. And I'm like, my life's a mess. But fast forward to the day that I'd given birth by myself.
Now, it wasn't 29 weeks then? How far did you make it?
I made it to 40 weeks. I made it to 40 weeks.
Okay.
So on my 40th day, my due date, I went into labor naturally, thank God. And then, in the hospital, within 30 minutes, I had an epidural in. And then, within a couple of hours, I was 7 centimeters. And then Ben went home to get my stuff. And then the cord was wrapped around my baby's neck and he'd lost his heartbeat.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, now my baby's life is going to die. I was like, what's going on? So when that happens, you're a code 1. That means they knock you out. You're going to theatre. And I was like, don't knock me out. Let me, so don't code 1 me. So they were prepping me in the elevator. So they took out all my jewelry, my earrings, my phone stuff. Shit went everywhere. I don't know where it was. So they lost my phone. They couldn't call Ben. And they're rushing me in the theatre, prepping me in the elevator to give birth because the cord's wrapped around my baby's neck. So I gave birth by myself, and that was about, I think it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Or 4 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It was just going dark. Ben didn't get to know he had a baby till 8:30, 9 o'clock that night. So I couldn't ring him because the hospital was searching for my phone.
And they didn't have his number in your chart?
No.
Oh, no.
So then they came, and it was COVID, right?
Right.
So you weren't allowed. Anyway, so they let him come up with the kids at 9 o'clock at night, see the baby, but he was only allowed to stay 1 hour each day, and because he was quite frail at this point, but he could still manage bringing the kids up. Fast forward to when my new baby's name is Neo. So now I have 3 kids. COVID's hit. No one's allowed to go to hospital. Ben's on the floor in our house in the fetal position in excruciating pain. I'm like, what's up, babe? Like, what's going on? I'd had a cesarean, so I was not very mobile. And I was like, oh my God, like I had to take him to the hospital. He didn't want to go to the hospital. But he was in so much pain, and because of COVID, I wasn't allowed to go in with 3 kids. I had to drop him off at the emergency exit or the door, and I said, ring me and let me know what they say.
So you see him in the fetal position. You've had cesarean. Are you scared? Are you thinking this is it? What's going through your mind?
So in my mindset, because I'm very strong at mindset, like I actually teach mindset. Like I'm a personal development, like I've been a personal development mindset coach for 10 years.
Yeah.
But I gave up my company to be a parent.
Right.
So I have emotional intelligence training. I have mindset training. I help people in trauma, and I'm using my own skills that I teach people. So I surrendered to God. Like this, I never believed in God before this. I mean, I did, but I didn't, right? But I found a profound thing in God, because when Ben had cancer and not when, he still does, I found God was the only person that supported me. I started doing that stupid praying shit at the side of the bed. Like I did. Like, they're like, okay, Kristie's, people, when I say, they're looking at me and they're like, okay, Kristie's found God. Shit's bad. Like, I have a military background and I'm like this motivating, in between a Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins motivator, right? I'm the positive thinking person.
Yeah.
Now, when Kristie finds God, we're off, right?
Okay, but that's really interesting that you're saying that, because it's almost like you're like, I can't believe I'm having to use these tools. I know these tools, and you hadn't had to use them before, and now thank goodness you knew about the tools, right? Even if you hadn't gotten to use them. So it sounds like even though you hadn't really used that tool before, just knowing that it existed and it was possible was enough to give you peace in that moment.
These tools give me the ability to wake up and function and live in the moment without the constant thought of the future of my husband's going to do like that. These tools give me the peace every single day without living in depression, without the panic, without the constant anxiety, without, what other label can I give it, that people, emotional breakdown.
Right. And it sounds like, though, you've definitely could say you've experienced that, right? Like, you've experienced those feelings.
Oh, there are times that I've been in the corner. This was that other story. It was 11 o'clock at night. I'm trying to put my kids to bed. My daughter won't sleep. I've got a newborn. He won't sleep. My 10-year-old's like, he's had to now become the parent. I'm like, Archie, you put Shanique to bed. I'll put the newborn to bed. It was horrendous. And I just collapsed on the floor, crying. And that's the moment I surrendered. I couldn't parent my own children. I had no help. And then it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, no sleep for days. Ben was in the hospital for a week, and I'm crying, failure as a mother, failure at life, suicidal thoughts. And I'm talking, I give up on life. My life is shit. Why did God give me this? Why is this happening to me? Like, life was fucked, right? And I'm alone with no help. Because when we need the support the most, I went, there's no one here. It's only me. No one could do, and that's when I started to go, you know what? I'm the only one that can help myself right now. Yeah. I must take responsibility. And I did something completely strange. I was sleep deprived, right? Because newborn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I just surrendered and I said, all right, I'm not going to put the kids to bed. You know what, kids? Let's make some popcorn. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. Kids, let's make some popcorn. I put my baby in one of those front sling things. Yeah. You know, the baby carrier. All right, kids, what movie do you want to watch? Who wants a bubble bath? Who wants some popcorn? And I became the motivated mummy, right? I was like, I'm not going to put the kids to bed at 7 o'clock. You know what? Forget all that shit. Forget my kids sleeping. You know what? Let's have a party. Put a movie on, kids. Anything you want. I put on all the lights. I put music on. And I started to empower myself. And you know what happened? Something absolutely magical happened.
Tell me.
The kids were laughing. The stress of me putting him to bed was gone. Because the program running through my mind was it's 11 o'clock, it was 1 a.m. and the kids should be asleep.
Yeah.
The thing I had to overcome was I needed sleep to function. But you know what? I didn't need sleep. I needed a new attitude. I needed to pick my pity party up off the floor. No one was there to save me. This was the most empowering thing. I went, wow, there's people that dedicate saving you, helping you between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Right.
But there's no one there from 11 a.m. to 5 a.m. when you need them the most, because the program, we should be asleep.
So do you think in that moment, maybe you were waiting for or at that point you had this expectation, someone was going to come and help, someone was going to come and do for you.
Someone was going to come save me, and no one did.
So in that moment, maybe was it, your pain is touching me so much, I'm sorry, but in that moment, that at your worst that you finally learned to give yourself that hug that you needed and to do that for yourself?
That is the ultimate self-love, is surrendering in such a way that the only person you can love is yourself. You've got to love going, you know what? God has given me this moment to bring out the creator and the greatness that I am. He just goes, you need this to unleash and know how good you are and know how powerful you are. Know that I would not, God, know that I would not give you something you couldn't handle. Your circumstance does not define you. It defines your greatness. And in that
I really like
moment,
that quote. I'm going to quote you on that one.
just reference me and you can go your hardest. I remember this chick. So that's what I live by. My circumstance, and I tell it like that, just that thing, surrendering, my circumstance does not define me. It defines my greatness, is my driving force that I use when I'm helping people. Now, I now, for some reason, suddenly coach people in this space, but what made the difference was I changed the way I eat. When Ben, remember when I said that we had to look for alternate things for Ben?
Right.
Now, the doctor said he couldn't eat meat because he couldn't digest it and it's bowel cancer, right? So that shit's going to hurt.
Right.
So I became a supportive wife and I was a full-blown meat eater.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had meat and 3 veg, like that's the typical thing. We had fast food, we had takeaway. Our diet was really shitty.
Right.
The self-discipline behind it sucked. One of the things that we changed was I only changed because of Ben. I did the support. I was the cook of the family, right? I'm the mum.
Right.
I cooked the meals and Ben went plant-based. He went plant-based eating. And what that means is he had to remove meat, seafood, dairy, eggs, processed sugars and processed meats and anything else that didn't serve the body, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, what am I going to make you? A salad set. Like and he took away breads as well.
Oh, wow.
Bread had sugar and all that other stuff in it. He couldn't digest that either. Yeah. And I was like, well, me, what am I going to cook you? I'm like, do I even cook now? Like, so that forced me to get creative.
Right.
I started looking up and I was like, I'm not a vegan. This is almost veganism. Like, I am not a vegan. I was like, vegans are these people that go around with banners going, don't kill animals. And I'm like, oh my God, save the planet. I'm like, I care for the planet, but I didn't care that much because I was still eating whatever. But I realized that the world and a new realm was opening up, that I had to become creative. And I'm doing this reluctantly, right? This is not something I chose. But what happened was I started to go, okay, well, I'm going to get my side dishes like, mashed potato and pumpkin and broccoli and cauliflower and carrots. And I'm like, well, I'm going to pretend that potato is now my new meat. How creative can I get with potatoes? And how creative can I get with cauliflower and fruits and veggies? And I went, my side dishes are now becoming my main meal. So that's what I decided. I went, okay, well, I'll just eat triple the amount. So that's what we did. So now we're plant-based whole food eaters, and my diet helped me emotionally. And I feel that's the biggest thing, because I found myself with more energy and more ability to handle what was happening. Now, what I'm about to tell you will be hard for anybody to hear, but emotionally something happened because I had changed my diet. I'd been on this particular thing for now 6 months, and my emotions are now under control.
So you didn't even go to you reluctantly went to eating this way.
I hated it.
You didn't want to do it.
I was angry. I was pissed off. I blamed him. I'm like, you're an asshole.
So you're mad. And is it, a few months or less than that, did you start noticing that you were...
10 days it took to notice the emotional changes. 10 days.
So 10 days, and tell me the emotional changes. What were, or maybe an example of something you're noticing that was different in your reactions on day 10 and after than before that?
So I had a skin condition called vitiligo, right?
Yes.
Now, for those people who don't know what that is, it's an uncurable autoimmune disease that affects the skin and makes you look all patchy like a cow.
Right, because if I remember correctly, I think one of my kids had a patch on their leg. So that little patch is like very white.
It's white. So it takes the melanin out of the skin.
Okay.
And it looks like white sunburn. Like it's like almost like skin peeling. It's red sometimes, it's erased, it's white. It's a pigmentation. So if you've got dark olive skin, it's really white patch. It's very obvious. It's very ugly. And I had it from my neck down to my belly button. So it covered my torso. It was really ugly. And at day 10, after changing, so, I mean, I'm wearing this turtleneck, not because I'm covering my skin, but because it's a bit cold. It's not cold, but it's cool. And day 10, I started noticing, like I don't have them now, the patches started to disappear.
Yeah, so I'm seeing your arm, and there's no patches on your arm now. And was that, so you had no expectation going into this?
I did not go to heal my vitiligo. And when I started plant-based, I was pregnant, right? So I wasn't allowed to implement a lot of the things they do because it's detoxing, right? You're not allowed to detox while pregnant because it can harm your baby or whatever. And I was like, well, I feel really good. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not detoxing. Like my own vitiligo diagnosis, right? But I had it since I was 15. So it was normal, right, to me. I lived with it. It was ugly. Yeah. I hated myself. I looked ugly. I thought I was an ugly person. And day 10, it started to disappear. Now, by day 90, 100% gone. I've got photos I can send you. In fact, on my Facebook, I've documented my journey from before and after photos and stuff like that. And I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Robert Morse in America.
Okay.
He's a natural healing person, but Dr. Robert Morse, we wrote our books and he featured us on his video.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God, this is cool. Because when you have an autoimmune disease, you're told it's uncurable. But for some reason, mine did.
Isn't that a nice surprise, right? Considering everything that happened up until that point. I mean, you were down in the depths of despair. So at that point, were you starting to feel like, oh, I think it happened back when you said, okay, there's God, and you were praying. But so at this point, though, are you starting to go, okay, life is going to be okay?
Like, when I knew God was backing me, I was fine.
You were fine. So
absolutely
then
fine.
Everything else is just surprises on top of it.
It's just cherries on top. Because there's a profound thing when you know God's backing you, or like an invisible source of universe or backing, you're never alone. And I had a spiritual awakening. I didn't know that's what it was, but I had what was known as a spiritual awakening. And it was rapid. It was a rapid spiritual awakening. Now, I can hear voices. I'm not psychotic, by the way, but in my dreams, and I hear God talking to me and all this stuff, and I know I'm safe. He makes me feel safe. And that meant I could handle what I'm about to tell you. When Ben was on the floor in the fetal position and I dropped him at the hospital, he went in and they gave him scans. He was in excruciating pain. This was April last year, so this is only a few months after. They did scans and they told him, your tumor's grown, you've got 72 hours to live. They gave him 72 hours to live.
Wow.
And I didn't get that phone call till 11 o'clock at night. He goes, babe, I don't know how to, this is COVID, right? So I'm not allowed to be there. Yeah. So I got told over the phone. He goes, babe, they've come in, they've told me I've got 72 hours to live. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What the hell? And then suddenly I'm on the phone crying my eyes out. I'm like, something comes over you when you hear that 72, like that's 3 days, right? Was that 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days.
3 days to live. COVID exists. You can't go anywhere. Yeah. He's in the hospital. I've got 3 kids and a newborn. You actually go, what are you going to do in 3 days? What are you going to do in 3 days? You know what? You don't do anything. You literally sit there and you go, let's just sit here. You
like sit there
and hug and just sit together.
Just
so
be.
Here's what he did. Yeah, so it brought us to that awareness to love unconditional, and we surrendered the fight, because the more we were fighting it and trying to kill it and get rid of it, it was like winning a never-ending race. Like, it's like going down in a sinking ship. It's like trying to save the Titanic. No matter how much you're holding on and panicking and to try and fight it, you're still going down. And we're like, well, if we're going to go down, let's let go. Let's just enjoy the ride. You know what? Yeah. Ben can die tonight. He can die tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go down fighting it. We're going to go down surrendered and enjoy what we have left. Because I don't know if you saw the Titanic movie, and you know, like, she's on the board and like he's there. You've got to surrender. At that point, we found that when you surrender, and I'll just try and compose myself, that moment that you surrender, that's the gift in life. That's where you feel the ultimate love, like a love you've never known before. And I'm talking, it's almost like the love of a child when it's smiling, or when it's asleep, or when the sun comes up and you feel that bit of warmth. And I'm talking when you look in the eyes of somebody and you feel that unconditional love, that unconditional support, that unconditional emotion, where it's an indescribable feeling that I hope, I don't wish this upon anybody, but I hope people find that moment in the surrender to feel that much love, support, and encouragement, and nurturing and compassion. That part of me hopes that people get it just to feel that, because it's worth it. But the other part of me goes, you know what? We're in this, and I'm here to deliver that wisdom or that quantified time. You don't have to go through that to get that, because we're passing on this wisdom, and we pass it on for free. We pass it on as the gift, and that's what we're giving. We are giving this to people, and that's why we're traveling Australia, giving this message. Yes, we've written books, and yes, we've done things, and yes, we have programs. I give my book away. Ben gives his book. Yes, we became an Amazon bestseller.
Right.
Money doesn't matter to us. Money is the ability for us to impact, yes, but we give it away. Like, I'm doing this because I want people to hear that moment in surrender, that wisdom, that love. And you know what? If Ben dies tomorrow and I got that as the message, then that's what I'm going to deliver. If that's the vessel that his conscious soul has chosen to come to earth and awaken within me and in my heart, and awaken that spirit, that love that's in our heart, and if that comes at the sacrifice of his body, there can only be beauty in that.
Thank you. So 3 things, tools, guidance, anything you want to share with the audience that you would like them to walk away with when they hear your story.
Number 1, if you've ever been given a diagnosis of something, I encourage, this is not advice, but from personal experience, I encourage you to stop. If you're alive, you have time. I encourage you to stop. Do not make decisions in that moment of panic and emotional trauma. If someone is telling you, hurry up, you've got to do this. Hurry up, you're going to die. Hurry up, you've only got given this amount of time. Oh, that's my second one. But the first one is to stop. Go home and say, I need 12 hours. Oh, but you don't have 12 hours. I'm going home. Sit with yourself, your children if you have them, your husband if you like them. No. Someone that is not going to give you the opinion that's going to shatter your decision. I encourage you to, one, either sit by yourself or someone you really trust. Just stop. Do not make any decisions. You have time. Find a support person. If you don't know them, find a coach or a mentor that is trained in this stuff that is unjudgmental of family and friends. That's the first one. You have plenty if you're alive, you have time. There's always more ways than one to resolve the thing. It's to get informed. Do not make decisions uninformed. Find all your information. You have plenty of time, by the way. You'd be surprised how fast you can find information. Trust me. There are things you don't know that you don't know until they come upon you, that the universe says, here, know this. You are not alone. You're not the first person it's ever happened to. There are people 1, 2, 10 years in front of you that have gone through this. Find that out. You have plenty of time. Even if someone gives you time, oh, you've only got 72 hours to live. Well, I'm telling you, he's 10 months down the track. He's still here. You have time. Trust that. Trust that time is on your side, and trust that the divine, the God, has given you this moment to say, hey, look at my lifestyle. What do I radically need to change? This is a guidance from God to say, hey, your lifestyle and the choices you're making are not serving you too well. You need to change now. You need to change something. You need to change your mental or emotional states, your internal self. Take responsibility. You're the only person you can save yourself. Find the knowledge and radically change your lifestyle, or this diagnosis is a premonition of what's going to happen. You've been given a chance. If you didn't get a chance, you'd be in a sudden car crash and die, right? A disease or a diagnosis is actually a premonition in advance. You actually now have a chance to change. And if you don't change, well, take the slippery down that decline because it's going to happen fast. But that may take 1, 2, 5 years, or you may not, you might even also go, you know what, who cares? And you know what, that's okay too. That's called sovereignty. Know your sovereignty. That's number 1. Number 2, never let anybody decide for you. Get back your sovereignty, I suppose. It comes back to that. You get a choice what to believe and what not to believe. And number 3 would be, what skills do I need to overcome this? What tools can I now learn? And believe me, I do that. I actually do this with people. People go, oh, there's no tools for this. You know what? There is. There absolutely is. And people may not be thinking of learning something new right now, but there is. There are tools, and I teach them. I mean, you're in America, so I encourage your people to fight. Like, I'm trained as a neuro-linguistic programming trainer, like an NLP trainer, right? If there is somebody in your state, where are you, California, wherever you are, find somebody who is a trusted educator. Now, there are hundreds out there, not all are good, but I know there's the Tad James Company and Adriana James in America who teach NLP coaching. You don't have to become a coach to do this, but you can coach yourself with the tools. It's 7 days training. I encourage people to go and because what NLP does, it gives you the tools to handle emotions. It teaches you how to understand emotions, how to use them as empowerment tools. Where they're happening, cause and effect, perceptions, projection. Like, the person we're most intimate with is our deepest unconscious, reflecting back a mirror of our internal self. That takes some shit to understand, right? You're like, what? But I encourage someone to do that. Like, I don't do online training.
Yeah.
I can do one-on-ones online, but I don't do online training as a coach with NLP, because you do the whole what I do in person. There has to be an element of in person. So find somebody in America that does that. It's NLP. For those people who don't know what it is, just type NLP coaching and you will have a list beyond my hands. Or find a coach that helps with emotional trauma, someone in the field of terminal illness. Now, I don't coach terminal illness. I actually help people transition from meat eating to plant-based eating. That's what I do. Because the first thing, and yes, I do that online, but I help people transition because their emotions are how they eat, and you can get control that way. Right. So that's what I do. And I can work one-on-one through a person going through this. I mean, you don't have to have terminal cancer to do it, right? You can just have depression, suicide, or, anxiety or fear. But But what I get them to do is look at their diet. I'm going to give you what they do. Like, you don't have to be coached by me or you or someone else, whatever services you do, but this is a warning to look at your lifestyle. Who are the people I'm hanging around with? What am I putting in my mouth? What's the environment I'm living in? What is my external reality showing me that I'm not seeing? Are you a toxic person that's complaining all the time? Are you complaining and blaming and not taking responsibility? I talk about the elephant in the room, and the elephant is no one is going to save you. You have to save yourself. It doesn't mean you can't get support doing it, but you have to be a realization that even as a coach, no one's going to save you. People pay me to coach them because it's support and nurturing and compassionate. We are humans, and it takes connection. Just because I'm telling someone I can't save them doesn't mean they don't need me as a shoulder to cry on and say, hey, I can't see my blind spot. I can't see the predicament I'm in. Can you be that person who is unattached and help me? Because trust me, when you're emotionally in it, and I'm telling you, there are days, like I'm not perfect. I cry.
Yeah.
Even with these tools, I'm not going to tell you you're not going to cry through this. I'm not going to tell you that you're not going to be a heap on the floor, because I still am. You're not going to learn these things and be Thor or Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
We're humans.
Yeah.
That is the gift. We are brought here to be on the planet to feel emotion. And you know what? That brings human connection. Now, I don't know about you, but I would never have found you, Angela.
I would not have found you either had I not made a post on Facebook.
And I would not have responded if human connection and God, that divine intervention, did not energetically align us. Now, I'm going to make something really magical here. They were my 3 points. Here's how I look at life. You have the now, which is me and you talking in this physical moment, right? Called time. Time is an illusion, because you're in America, in California, on Friday.
Yep.
It's probably 2:00 in the afternoon now. I don't know. So you're in my past, right?
True.
But I'm in Australia on Saturday at 8:00 in the morning. So technically, I'm your future.
Wow. I had not thought of it like that. Have you ever seen the movie Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey?
So that is my favorite movie. If you want, I watch Interstellar on repeat, because we look at cancer like, you know how he goes to Gargantua? Is that that planet they go to? It's not Gargantua.
No, they go through Gargantua, right?
To get to that planet, that for every hour on that planet is 7 years on Earth.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever that planet's called, they go there. So every hour on that planet is 7 years Earth. And then what happens with time? As it comes down, it's got a density and gravity. Yeah. So what Ben and I have done, he's used meditation, our thoughts, and connected to our inner heart and to source itself, and energetically altered our perceptions and reality energetically. So we've thrown it up to source. So we've taken it up to that planet, right?
Right.
So it's instant. But there's a thing called time. It might take 1 month, 2 months, 3 years, or 10 years, or in his case, the rest of his life, to have a physical reaction here.
Right.
So we've energetically changed our belief system. Instead of him thinking he's dying, we're looking at how he's living. Death is an illusion to us now. We never truly die. When we truly die, we become pure consciousness. Because have you ever seen the movie Lucy?
I love Lucy.
So Lucy, you know, when you become pure consciousness, you become everything. So I'm talking
at the very end of the movie, when he's asking, when he's asking where is she, and then the text comes over and it says everywhere.
Everywhere.
So I love that movie.
particles become, energy becomes a physical manifestation. Everything that we are, I've manifested you. You've manifested me. Energetically, let's say up there in the ether, we've all created. We are co-creating right now. Just because you're in America and California and I'm in Australia, you're my mental representation, because our third eye, like the chakra system, we've got our third eye. You are a physical theta representation or a vision of my internal self. I have literally manifested you as a vision. And I now get to interact with that consciousness called Angela, who has taken ownership and created your body as a vehicle to communicate through you and my energetic self as a physical body to connect with yours. We are all connected. Our consciousness was already created in the ether. We are now the physical, three-dimensional representation of that energeticness, I suppose you call it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I have really enjoyed having you on the show today. I think you're amazing. I enjoy your perspective. And I believe that the world will be made a better place. Most definitely.
And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Relatively Damaged by Damaged Parents. We really enjoyed talking to Kristie about how she found a way to get up and keep moving. We especially liked when she explained how she finds joy in every day. To unite with other damaged people, connect with us on Facebook at Damaged Parents. We'll be here next week, still relatively damaged. See you then.